Hi everyone, Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat. My name is Greg Doyle. I am delighted to be joined by Owen McKendry. This is an episode of our Sunday sessions where we will discuss the hot and ongoing topics in boxing. Owen, first of all, how are you, my friend?
Thank you for having me back on again, Greg. I'm delighted to be back for another video, and there's some interesting goings on, so delighted to be talking about them.
Awesome, delighted to have you as always, Owen. So, a couple of topics I want to discuss with you that's been ongoing the past week or so. Owen, first one that I want to come to is the IBF heavyweight situation. We have seen that there has been an order for Filip Hrgovic to, I wouldn't say jump the queue ahead of Tyson Fury, but to go straight to the front of the queue and have an opportunity to dethrone Alexander Usyk. First of all, what do you make of that ruling and how do you see that fight going?
It doesn't surprise me. The amount of times we've seen over the years, I think probably Canelo is probably the best example. You know, when they're going for the undisputed status and they make him fight like an Anthony Yildirim. That's probably the best example I can think of. I understand the ruling because you've got so many. There's a problem with all the bouts, really. You've got so many hungry, unbeaten fighters that are rightly waiting for their world title shot. So from their point of view, you can't argue with it, but it is really annoying because obviously we want to see the best fight the best. Now, Hrgovic, we spoke about quite a bit on ESBR. We were expecting more, and then Big Bang Jay Lee, but it's a massive spanner in the works. I thought he beat him. Apparently not. And here we are. That Hrgovic is now fighting Usyk. Sorry. Fury, you don't know what's going to happen. He's fighting Chisora. So it's probably the right decision because we've seen Fury struggle to make undisputed fights in the past, and it's something we'll probably see again. So although it's not the fight we want to see, Hrgovic Usyk, it's probably the right idea because it gets Usyk back out in the ring, and I really think the Fury fight won't happen. Interesting to see what you think on that as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I think it's one of those situations. I believe that if someone has got themselves into a position, they should be allowed to fight for the title. I also think that there's windows there where these undisputed fights can happen. If politics means that they can't happen at a certain time, then the world can't stop for them. I believe that Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, there has been opportunities to make these fights. And let's be honest, they don't look as though they're on the immediate horizon. So life and times has to go on. And, you know, I agree with you. I think it was a close fight between Hrgovic and Zhang. I think Zhang just won the fight. But, you know, he's earned his shot. Hrgovic, no one wanted to fight him. The first guy that showed a bit of interest, it was a good close fight. But, yeah, I'm in the same kind of agreement with you. I think that it's probably the right thing. I mean, Tyson Fury's fighting Chisora now. Usyk has been injured and doesn't have an opponent. So the IBF need to do what they need to do. So, yeah, very interesting points there, mate, and I agree with you. So, moving on, the next thing I want to speak to you about, a bit of an out there topic, but it's been spoken about in the world of boxing, so we'll go along with it. Tommy Fury. So, with Tommy Fury, we understand that there was a fight with Paul Bamba, I believe the gentleman's name was. It's not came off. There was a difficulty in the contracts where I believe that Paul Bamba's contract said £175. I think Tommy Fury said about 181 or 182. That fight is off. Tommy Fury, we now know, is fighting an exhibition against, I know the guy's first name is Rolly. I don't really know anything else after that. It's not even a full fight. It's an exhibition. Just first of all, Owen, what do you make in this whole situation with Tommy Fury and what's went on this weekend?
I think it's a shambles, to be fair. I know it's not going to happen, but I'd love to be able to actually sit and read the contract because I've never known two fighters to have different weights. That to me is just baffling. How you can agree as well, why Paul Bamba and his team would even agree in the first place to say, yeah, he's going to come in heavier and then rehydrate and come in even heavier. There's a lot that's baffling there. And I do really actually want to read the contract just to see if that has actually happened. I think it's a bit of an embarrassment to the sport. The fact when it was re-announced who he's fighting, the Rolly geezer, who's got a winning record and a decent winning record at that. He's 15-1-1 with 12 knockouts. So no matter who you're fighting, if you've knocked out 12 out of 15 people you've beat, you've got some serious power.
Yeah.
So it would have been a brilliant opportunity to actually show the public that Fury actually wants to be a boxer. Now he's doing a 6-round exhibition against a geezer in the weight above. He needs to decide really whether he wants to do the Love Island influencer celebrity lifestyle, or he wants to be a world champion. As he said himself, I don't think he ever will be a world champion, but he said before he wants to fight for titles, and realistically he needs to start showing that. 6-round exhibitions when you're not making weight, it's just an embarrassment to the sport. He's been calling out KSI and Jake Paul left, right and centre, who professional boxers that they are. That fight's not coming to fruition either. So I think with Tommy Fury's situation, he needs to decide whether he actually wants to be a boxer, and if he is about that lifestyle and he's going to take it forward to try and win titles, or he's going to take the influencer route, which if he wants to take that route, so be it. He can do exhibitions left, right and centre and he can make a lot of money from it. He just needs to stop making a mockery of boxing, in my opinion, and decide what he's actually going to do.
Yeah, that's a strong opinion on, but I think it's a strong opinion that I agree with. In a lot of ways, Love Island seems to be the making and the breaking of Tommy Fury. I think in terms of fame, and he's met his partner and everything through it. Great, good for him. He's improved his life, but he needs to remember he was a boxer once upon a time, and he was going routes that traditional boxers go. Now it just seems that even at his young age, he wants to earn the biggest amount of money the quickest way, and I think he's a bit lost in transit whether he is a boxer or a performer, because he's not doing anything these days that a traditional boxer would do. I don't have a problem with him maybe fighting a YouTuber. I rate to an extent Jake Paul. There's some guys out there that aren't bad fighters, but an exhibition bout when you've already had, I mean, how many fights has Tommy Fury had? 7, 8 fights or something, and he's now in exhibitions where you don't get a winner. He's been basically, like you say, it's almost like making a mockery of the sport. I think you just really need to make your mind up. Are you an entertainer? Or are you a boxer?
Yep.
And I think we'll cut that there. Owen, I think that's enough said about that topic. Final thing I want to talk to you about that has came up over the last week or so, well, especially the weekend last night. Montana Love was fighting Stevie Spark. It was a fight that it caught a bit of my attention because Eddie Hearn travelled out to the States for it, and normally you would think that if he's going out there, it's normally just big fights that he's going out there for, but there must have been a little bit of underlying faith in Montana Love. We seen that the fight ended in a disqualification in the 6th round. Again, if we're talking about Tommy Fury, I think Montana Love maybe forgot whether he was a boxer or a WWE wrestler. Ended with a clothesline over the top rope, to which luckily Stevie Spark landed on his feet. First of all, what do you make of the disqualification, the way that the fight went out, basically being done that way, and what do you think comes next from it?
It's a bit of a weird one. I thought it was brilliant, but obviously it's not brilliant, but in the terms of when you first see it, it sets you back like, what on earth is going on there? I don't think he was necessarily looking for a way out. I think he was just trying to buy himself time in any way, shape or form, really. It was a tough fight, and I think he was losing. So I don't think he was looking. You don't expect that to be a DQ. I think he was looking to just buy time as much as he can. Went about it the wrong way. But I still do think a DQ was harsh. Take a point, even maybe take 2 points to make a statement saying, look, you shouldn't be doing that. I don't think he's intended to cause any harm by throwing him over. I do genuinely believe he was just sort of buying as much time as he could, because if you look at the exchanges before that, he was sort of trying to hold on, and he was taking a few big shots. So I think he was just panicking and he was struggling to hold on. So he turned to wrestling. I don't know whether that actually disqualifies an opponent, if that's in the rules or if that was the referee's choice. But personally, I think 2 points, because obviously it's more than a point, really. It's quite harsh what he done. So I think 2 point deduction would have been fair. where does he go next? Really, is a tough one because, like you say, there was clearly something that Eddie Hearn's seen for him to fly out for a decent fight. To be fair, it's a bit of a banger. But it's a tough one because all his reputation now is going to be that he quit, that he cheated. So he is going to have that sort of black mark next to his name. So it's interesting, but realistically, I think he could also use it to his advantage. He could play on it. He could make jokes about it. He could use it in build-up with future opponents. But it's a situation I've never expected, really. It's one that I've watched the video back a few times, and there's been a lot of differing opinions. But I do think it was harsh personally. I'm not sure what you think, but for myself, 2 points, take it off him, let him go again.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Owen, I've kind of fell out with myself a little bit over what I think should have been the right resolution. Originally, and still to this point now, I do think 2 points probably would have been suffice. I can understand arguments for and against. I know guys like Rob Tebbit, I think our very own Elliot Stott, I think they believe that it should have been a disqualification. The only reason that makes me... there's two ways I look at it. When the incident happened, did Montana Love intend to put him over the top rope? Well, I kept pushing at him, so I'm going to say yes. But the end result is Stevie Spark landed on his feet. He was walking straight away. He did not intend, I believe, to show any sign of injury or not get on with the fight. So I think if he goes down and he's really hurt, which is kind of contradictory because it's down to should have Montana Love have done it or not. But the fact that he did land on his feet, he was getting right back in the ring. I think 2 points are really, really stern. One more thing and you're out. I think that would have been suffice because we would have got the outcome that was naturally going to happen in the fight. It wouldn't have surprised me if this was a fight where Stevie Spark put it on Montana Love early, but the more the fight went on, he maybe got tired and Montana Love found a way to get him out of there. So I think we've been robbed at the conclusion in the fight, but it will be interesting to see what happens going forward. I think for Montana Love, the only resolution is an instant rematch. I think he needs to correct that because people are going to be wondering, did he look for a way out? They'll be questioning the DQ. Was it right? Was it wrong? So, yeah, for me, I think that's the route I would go down. I think 2 points should have been the punishment. I think I would like to see an instant rematch. So, yeah, that basically covers us off this week with a few good other fights in boxing. We wanted to talk about 3 topics that were really interesting. Those were the 3 that really came to the forefront of our mind. So, Owen, thanks very much for joining me. I'll see you guys next time. We will be back shortly for another Sunday session. And take care, and we'll speak to you again soon.